Oyi,
What's good?
to the guy, how you doing?
Intelligent, wise, civilized, minding my business. Neat.
Yeah,
Wish
I
I
see.
had wish I had good lighting like yours.
I see you got that. What's that? The Oculus? Or they changed the name of that, right?
Nah, these the just the these just the 3S.
3S. Okay.
Yeah, the 3S, they only like 300. So they got beef way up there. It's crazy. The plant medicine is what's starting all the beef between the AI companies and Facebook and Google. It's still over plant medicine. We're gonna get into that, but that's
Mm,
what I'm saying, the name of the topic tonight. And the first thing you asked me about is the Oculus. So you gotta look at them as bullies on the block. So Apple, Zuckerberg said, "Hey, I got something for 450." Apple,
mm.
I got something for 3,000. Zuckerberg says, "I got something for 299." Apple is like shit. But all of it is to get you into that psychedelic part of your mind that sees images that you say are real. What's
Hmm.
what's inside of my thank you. What's inside of here that I saw, I can't unsee. Do you remember that sunset where the geese were at where I first met you? Remember the
Yes,
geese and with
yes,
the
yes,
sun?
sir.
Well, I want you to unforget that you saw that. I want you to forget that you saw that. Is that even possible?
Nah, it's impossible.
But if somebody didn't see you there, they would be like, I don't even know what he's talking about. But trust me, everyone, the sunset that I'm describing to him, he knows in his feet, in his toes, what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we gonna get into that because I definitely want to talk about that day when we first met and everything. But yo, welcome to the show, Young Black and Vegan. Today
What up? What up?
been here before. Y'all seen my guest, Oyi Sun. He's a master teacher. He's been on the platform a couple of times. Today we are talking about all things plant medicine. We're gonna like specifically talk about ayahuasca, bufo, mushrooms. If you got any questions about plant medicine, drop them in the comments. We're gonna try to get to those. You got something to say, Oyi?
Nah, I was just gonna say,
Okay. We just lost him. He'll be back in a second. But yeah, so we're talking about all things plant medicine, how we can utilize plants and nature for things like healing, getting in touch with our ancestors, going back to, just indigenous practices that are a part of our lineage and our blood lines that go back generations since the beginning of time. But Oyi will be hopping back on in a second. I think he might have lost his connection. And I guess I'll start by talking about how I met Oyi anyway. So the story before I met Oyi has to go back about 2.5 years when I did ayahuasca for the first time. And so ayahuasca, here he is.
my bad.
Oh yeah. Oh no,
My,
you're all good. You're all good. So I'm just kind of telling the story how we met. 2.5 years before we met, I did ayahuasca for the first time. So I went down to Costa Rica, did ayahuasca. It was the like best thing that I've ever did for myself in my life.
can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
Why did you go to Costa Rica instead of doing it in America?
Well, for one, I had never heard of ayahuasca before. I was actually on a road trip going to work on a production, and one of the executive producers told me about ayahuasca at the time. Best friend had just died. It was a lot of turmoil going on just in life, and I just wasn't in a great place. And so she told me to check out this place that she went to and said that it changed her life. So I looked into it, and then it was a year later when I actually went and did it. So prior to that conversation, I've never heard the word ayahuasca. It was something that I would have never even considered. Growing up in South Central, I never even smoked weed the whole time I was here. Alcohol was never my thing, and so I smoked the first time when I moved to Atlanta because the chick that I was dating smoked. So I was just like, you know what? Let me try it. That wasn't my thing either, though, right? And
Right.
so I went to Costa Rica and I did ayahuasca. It was an ayahuasca retreat. So it was 4 nights straight of ayahuasca. And again, it was the best thing that I can say I've ever done for myself. And fast forward, I was in New York like a couple of months later. and I went to go see the MJ show, right? And when I was getting tickets, I looked up and my boy Brandon is on like the Jumbotron. He's a Nike trainer. So, and all of this stuff was going to connect. So I recorded that. I sent it to him. After I did ayahuasca, I called him one day, was telling him about it. He listened to the story and he's like, yo, I've been doing that for like the last 9 years, taking people down to Peru, right? For something called warrior retreats, which is a leadership retreat, but the first couple of days, ayahuasca is something that's available. So he was like, yo, I think you should come. So I went to warrior retreats and I did ayahuasca again. And, that was also a incredible experience. And so that was my first year with working with entheogens, right? So then, you haven't done ayahuasca before, right? So one thing about ayahuasca is what I found is when you do it, the effect it has on me is like, you know what? That's something I never need to do again in my life. 6 months later, medicine starts talking to you again. It's like, I could do that. 8 months later, you see like all of the benefits that you got from it and how much you've grown. And then it's like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to do that again. So the next year, which was last year, I decided to go do ayahuasca again because I figured, you know what, if that was such a healing journey, I'm just curious what the experience will be now that I got this healing. Because, you hear stories of people, they astral travel, they do all of these things, they go back in time. And so, I did ayahuasca again. And you know what that experience was? More healing. And so this time, though, the first time was personal healing. The second time was ancestral healing, which that was very, I'm not going to front, painful, the purging aspect of it. And, the very last night that I did ayahuasca, I purged again and I asked the medicine, I was like, yo, what was that? It said it was the old life. Cool. So leave Peru. I had been thinking about mushrooms for a while, but that door just would not open to me. Somebody gave me a couple contacts. The contact was not hitting me back for nothing. And so when I went to Hawaii, when they had those Lahaina fires, one of the guys from Warrior Retreats lived there. So we went out there to volunteer and he had some mushrooms. So this is when I experienced mushrooms for the first time. It's when they had the blue moon. And so my first journey was the 5 grams. And, it was a cool experience. We were outside, out in nature and everything. And that was the first time that I did mushrooms. I won't say that it was like anything significant that I remembered, but it was a cool experience. Me and my boy, we ended up watching Intergalactic that night with Kid Cudi, which it was incredible. So it just like, I guess, heightened the senses. And I was like really, experiencing all of the colors and just the greatness of that film. So fast forward, I went to Bali and I'm at this place, which, I've never seen anything like this spot in my life. Amazing. And I'm talking about where we met, right? And so I took some mushrooms that day. So I'm there and I'm just like experiencing the beauty of this place. Like, yo, I've never seen anything like this. It's like a movie. And so I've been working in the film industry for over a decade, right? So I know cameras. I'm trying to film this place because it's just like that beautiful. But for some reason, I just cannot get the camera settings right. So, I tried once, it's not working out. Boom, try twice, it's not working out. Third time, I try it, but here comes this guy. He has a camera, he's filming. So I'm trying to get this good gimbal shot. He just like walks in my shot. So I'm like, you know what? Bump it. I'm a chill. I threw my headphones on. I'm listening to some music. And so Oyi, he asked me, he's like, yo, where you from? I'm like, I'm from LA, but I live in Atlanta. I just moved from Atlanta. And so we get to talking. We're talking about mushrooms. He asked me if I'm off wet or dry. I'm like, bro, I don't even know what that means. He gives me this look like, come on. Whole time, he's a mycologist and has been studying this stuff. And, he turned me on to Kendi E and so many other things that has helped me on my spiritual journey. And that is how I met Oyi Sun.
Bong, bong.
Yes.
So that morning that he was taking mushrooms, I was laying in the bed, and I had said I was going to go look at this place because I wanted to teach. As a healer, I like using martial arts and the Qigongs from martial arts. So Tai Chi is a martial art. It came from mushrooms. So you could say that Tai Chi and all martial arts are the results of plant medicine. The yoga that people are doing is a result of plant medicine. The Kung Fu that you see Jet Li and Bruce Lee, it don't matter which one was the best. Oh, is Jackie Chan better than Bruce Lee or Donnie Yen, or is Jet Li the best of all time? Or they all come from, their styles come from the plant medicine. So that's the point, is like, where'd you come from? That's cool that you're doing this and you're doing that, but you all came from where? And so I was looking for a place to teach Nine Dragon Bagua mixed with the human design. But for some reason, I was like, nah, I ain't gonna go because it's too far or something like that. It was like 22 minutes from my villa. Mm-hmm. And I laid down in the bed and was going to take a nap. And all of a sudden it was just something to say, get your ass up and go right now.
Yeah.
So you're somewhere on the island. I ain't met you, but you're inducing, and you know what I'm saying? You in your place. And I'm on the other side saying, man, I want to go teach. Okay, go right now. And I jump on the bike, and I didn't mean to walk in front of the shot. I just remember seeing your tennis shoes.
That's all good.
I wanted to sit where your shoes were.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought you was still there, but you was moving around. You didn't care at all. He wasn't like high, but he was feeling real nice. He was chilling. He was not like in Atlanta. If you see somebody's shoes, right? Somebody might be like, yo, those my shoes. Watch out, son. Mm-hmm. Watch out, you know, or Compton or whatever. Hey, man, what's up? He didn't give a flying flippity about where I sat at. He was like, you can sit anywhere you want, because he was just connecting with the earth. You know, more plant medicine. If you're outside barefoot, if you're earthing, that's plant medicine. We have to like stop trying to make it seem like plant medicine is something that gets you high. Plant medicine is healing. I had a salad today. Plant medicine. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I just like to play on words with it a little bit. But yeah, that's how we met. And it's been cracking ever since, y'all. I don't know. I guess he wanted me to go forward. I turned him on to a couple of things, gave him a couple of indicators, you know.
You turned me on to a lot. So, you know, I went to Bali, and, you know, we have these ideas, or we just say we're going to go through things, but then later on we find out the real reasons. So like, I know for a fact that meeting you was one of the main reasons why I went to Bali. One, you turned me on to Kendi E, and, you know, I grew up in South Central LA and listening to Tupac, right? So when Tupac died, that really affected me. And it was like, yo, damn, that's somebody that I wanted to meet and have a conversation with. After you sent me some Kendi stuff, I just went on down a rabbit hole and was listening to episode after episode after episode of everything I could find. And it was another like person where it's like, damn, I wish I could have met him. And, you know, then like entheogens is something that where you can actually like meet these ancestors, which I haven't, you know, taken, I guess, a high enough dose yet to have these conversations. But the last time I did, not the last time, but one of the last times I did ayahuasca, I was able to like interact with my best friend that passed, right? So I have some of that experience, but for the people who don't know, who is Kendi E? Can you just talk about him for a second?
The crazy part, when you was just describing that, I was just like, the synchronicity of you being there and being able to receive that, and me being there, the only person on the island who knows who Kendi E is. Mm. The one in a million chance that we had to meet on that same day for you to say, because I told everybody about Kendi. Mm-hmm. Did you see The Godfather of Harlem?
I have not, but I know about it.
But you know about it.
Right, yes.
So that's the story of Forrest Whitaker is playing the New York gangster who was around Doug Schultz and them, Bumpy Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
That's Kalindi's grandfather. Let's start there. That's why we're going to start who Kalindi is. He's the grandson of Bumpy Johnson.
Okay.
A notorious gangster from South Carolina, but he was a gangster when he got to Harlem. And then Kalindi was a boxer first, and they say he was like Golden Gloves level, but he had a knockout punch. He was just like knocking cats out. And then he started judo or some type of like grappling martial arts. And then in 1973, Peter Andreas, his best friend in Detroit, Michigan, returned from Mexico and gave him his first mushrooms. I was 3 years old, right?
Right. We lost your audio. Oh, yeah.
And yeah, my bad. And so the Kalindi takes his first mushrooms in 1973, and he says the tree starts talking to him. And then by the time then he goes off into studying all different types of martial arts. He starts to take higher dose mushrooms. He starts to study with Ivan Van Sertima. And when Ivan Van Sertima went to Egypt to do his research, Kendi E was in charge of security, because that's when they got there. Before 9/11, you could climb up the pyramids. So Kendi said he slept on top of the pyramids when he was there with Ivan Van Sertima. And when he would travel around Europe to study with him and be his security, he would, after he would make sure Ivan Van Sertima would be safe or go back home or whatever, he would stay a couple of days and sleep outside of the libraries and like read books voraciously. And it is a rumor that in Detroit, Michigan, he has a library of somewhere near 40,000 books. Now, I don't know, it's a rumor. I didn't get to see it, but when I said something to Ramasu about it, he didn't say it was 40,000, but he was just like, it's a lot of books. You know what I'm saying? And so like, he is a scholar. And then he went to South Africa. He got a strain of mushrooms from a South African priest. He went to Ghana and got a strain of mushrooms from a Ghanaian priest, and came back to Detroit and morphed them together into what is now called the Tamarian Blues strain of mushrooms, which you can find no research on the internet anywhere. However, they are one of the most potent strains. And in the psilocybin cup, after Kalindi passed, they started a psilocybin cup to measure the potency in mushrooms, because in the streets, everybody thinks penis envy is the strongest, but it's not, right? It's on the growers, on the conditions, all of that. Out of 212 entries, the Tamarian in the United States of some of the finest growers, the Tamarian Blues was 27th, the year that they were in for potency, out of 212. So Kendi E is that guy, mycologist, scholar. If you've heard of Paul Stamets, Kendi E is Paul Stamets' hero. Paul Stamets, Kendi E passed on April the 10th, 2020. And August the 9th, we had the psychedelic, Detroit Psychedelic Conference, the only live psychedelic conference in 2020, because COVID had shut everything down. And we got Paul Stamets to Zoom in for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And his first 30 or 45 minutes, all he did was talk about Kendi E.
And I feel like we could talk about Kendi E for hours by itself. So I think everybody, do yourself a favor and just look up Kendi E. There are like a bunch of videos on YouTube. Oyi has a bunch of episodes on this podcast with Kendi E. And
the last 13 he did. The last 13 podcasts he did on my podcast.
Yes. So if you want to learn about mushrooms, the history of them, the technology, how to travel interdimensionally, Kendi E is someone that you must go check out. So that's one of the like resources that you turn me on to. And we definitely gonna jump into this plant medicine, but we just establishing the foundation. You turned me on to, well, you told me that I was about to be going through my Uranus opposition. And boy, oh boy, I didn't even know what that was. But let me tell you, it's been real. So to be on the other side of like most of what I had to experience during this year, man, I feel great. But man, it was definitely last year post ayahuasca. That was the like greatest year of my life internally, right? And this year has been the most challenging year of my entire life. So the juxtaposition with that has been so dramatic. And if I hadn't done all of the work with plant medicine, you know, like who knows what this conversation would be, or if we would be having this conversation right now. But it was, you know, going through those experiences and doing the hard work, getting the healing and allowing the medicine to work on me. And, you know, it's almost like this year, and since I've, you know, been doing entheogens, you get these software upgrades, right? And so you could be operating and might have a problem in front of you and you can't, you know, figure it out at that moment. But then software upgrade, it's like a light bulb. Oh, damn, I didn't even think of that. And things just start flowing. So that's one of the experiences that I've had. And I would love for you to talk about like, what's your role to coming into working with entheogens and plant medicine?
My road or my role?
Road, like what was the journey for when you first got involved with entheogens?
You mean after I said I ain't messing with that stuff? You mean after that? You want me to start? I ain't messing with that. So I came up on cannabis, right? And the guy we used to get our cannabis from, he said mushrooms is like acid, and if you have a bad trip, you may never come back. And he did not know what he was talking about. He was wrong, but I trusted what he said and took it for his word because he was older than me. So like community, you have to be careful when somebody says something and you just say, "Oh, okay." But I was 20, 19. So that means I didn't try mushrooms until I was 48 years old. So for 28 years, dog, I was out here trying to deal with being a black man and my trauma with no plant medicine. Jesus Christ. So when I finally did try it, it's because I'm competitive. I like money. I'm a Taurus. I'm a professional astrologer, human design, all of that, right? And so now, oh, hey,
Peace.
yay. My OG right there. So look at that. She done made me forget where I was at. I like money and I'm competitive. So so my doctor, who's a black Chinese traditional Chinese medicine, he was the first black Chinese medicine doctor in North Carolina. He says, "You gotta try these mushrooms." I was like, "Man, I ain't messing with that. That's for white people." Right?
So this is when you're in your 40s now. This is the first time.
I'm 47. I'm 47 at this time. This is March 2018. And he says, well, they're using mushrooms in Silicon Valley to solve problems. So I went to Google. I type everything in Google. I typed in mushroom Silicon Valley, and the first magazine at the top said Forbes. I was like, up. Everything associated with Forbes is money. So if you microdosing are in this magazine, and then it was like Newsweek, New York, Wall Street Journal, I was just like, oh, player. So now I'm like, y'all are using this as a cheat code to make more money. Oh, come on. I'm a former black nationalist, 5%er. Nation of Gods and Herbs. What are you talking about? Y'all doing this? Nah, I'm in. And then he told me about a book called the Psychedelic Gospels. So I'm a historian, and it was a couple, a Jewish couple, a white couple, whatever, and they was going around the world to all these sacred places, temples in Egypt, temples in Pakistan, temples in Native American, temples in Africa, and they said they was always finding these mushrooms on the walls. And they were taking pictures, and I got upset because as a historian, I seen all these same pictures before. They wasn't showing any pictures that I had not seen on a cave or a pyramid or a wall. I knew every place that they were at, but I had been overlooking the mushroom. So now it's in my face. And I was just like, okay, Silicon Valley, and it's been around me all this time, and I ain't even see it. Okay, I feel kind of stupid.
You ain't even know it.
I ain't even know it. Hey, when are we going? And he was like, we can do it this Friday. And it was my birthday. So May 17th, 2018, that was the first time I took 5 grams of golden teachers. And that was also the first time I was introduced to integration, even though he didn't call it integration. He just came down and threw me 3 big blankets and about 4 pillows. And I was like, what's this for? He said, you'll see later. That's it. And I was just like, what?
So tell me about that experience. What do you remember from it? How did it change you? And, what was next? Did you dive straight into doing more entheogens and research?
The first part of the experience was circuitry. So for me, I could see the circuits. I could see the fabrics of life. I could see, like, when you look at the schematics of a house for the electrical wiring, you're going to see blue, red, and black. Maybe green, yellow wires that run. You know how cats, when they got a lot of them big wires in there. I could see all of that in everything. And all I had to do was close my eyes and it would turn on. And then when I would open my eyes, I'd be back in this illusion. And I would close my eyes and I could just see I could see inside the walls. I could see the atoms moving. And I was like, why? Oh, the very first thing was when they hit my traps, I got a little nervous. And then I reminded myself that I was a student of Sunyata Saraswati, and I said, just relax and breathe. I told myself, I said, just relax and breathe, relax your shoulders. And I used my own breathing on myself. And I relaxed my shoulders and I slid into that joker like, show. And that's when I just started seeing stuff. And it was, that night I was also shocked because Dr. Amsu, he had done lots of mushrooms and ayahuasca, but there was another dude there and he did 5 grams with us, but he wouldn't shut up. So for me, this is my first time. I'm just right here trying to enjoy it. He's just talking for like 45 minutes. And then he just stands up and walks out and said, all right, I'm gonna see y'all later. I was like, he can operate a vehicle on this shit? I was like, yeah, because I was high already, bro.
Right.
Like he just got up and walked out of here. I was like, he gonna die. Somebody better get him. But he was just like, that's just what he do. And so now, what is this? 6 years later, I see people who have built tolerance levels like that, where they could function on like 4 grams, 5 grams. You see what I'm saying? Not function like go to a job or something, but he's a high doser. I didn't know what a high doser was then because I didn't even know. The next morning, my doctor says we gotta start growing these. So now he's making me go from regular experimenter to mycologist in less than 24 hours. And I was like, I kill plants, house plants. So I know you don't want me to do this. And he says, go get the video from Kendi. I was like, who's that? Same thing you said. I was like, who's that? He says he's selling a video to show you how to grow the PF Tech method. And you can get his strain of mushrooms, of Tamarian Blues. Game over. Went on Facebook, found Kendi, got the video, went and bought all my supplies, ordered my stuff on Amazon, and then I started becoming a pest to the master because every step I did, I'm sending him a picture on Facebook, or I am calling him on his phone, and he was in Detroit. So this is how it changed my life, man. It changed my network because my curiosity level just went skyrocket like yours, you know. And I just Kalindi gave me, for some reason, he gave me a lot of access, to him. And I was also dating somebody in Detroit, and Kalindi was always talking about make sure you got a sitter. And I know I was getting trained right from the gate about you've sat for somebody doing 5 grams. I mean, somebody sat for you, you've done 5 grams, so you experienced it, so you could sit for somebody on 5 grams or less. And he just started talking about how you're supposed to like sit for people and just help them the same way Amsu came in there and gave me them blankets, gave me some water.
Let me ask you this. So when you were still a teenager, somebody said something to you that made you stay away from mushrooms, right? And you didn't end up doing it until you were in your 40s. And as I'm having conversations with certain people that I know, one of the common themes is fear. People have fear around entheogens and mushrooms. And, some people is because they don't want to relinquish control. Some people feel like, am I going to lose my mind? Can you kind of talk about fear and preparation? Are there things that people can do to alleviate some of that fear, or is having that fear or more of the reason to try these entheogens? And not even try them, but work with them because it's a relationship.
Did you know that I was the founder of Control Freaks Anonymous?
I didn't know.
And the president. And the chief financial officer of all the Control Freaks. So Control Freaks, we operate off of lots of fear.
Mm-hmm.
So fear stands for false evidence appearing real. And without plant medicine, I think that people in general, blacks, vegans, whites, carnivores, will be susceptible to not thinking for yourself. And someone else will be influencing you to make you think that you are safe. And so now when you think that, I'm afraid because I won't be safe, you weren't safe ever in the first place. You were never safe. You were safer thinking for yourself and experiencing life in first person. And that's what mushrooms, entheogens, Bufo, all the, grandmother, grandfather, they give you firsthand knowledge right then of what it is to be God. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not hypothetical anymore. Without them, everything is hypothetical. Jesus, Easter Bunny, genetics, all types of stuff is hypothetical. But when you bring that plant medicine in and you face the fear, you realize it was false. It's not real. Like they tell people, like, picture the worst case scenario. Well, Kalindi said you would have to eat half your body weight in mushrooms to have a 50% chance of dying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to just take a guess and say you was 160. You ain't eating no 80 pounds of mushrooms. Forget about
it. Man, do you know how challenging it was to get 9 grams now? Oh my goodness. Yo, that really, it's medicine at the end of the day.
If you would have doubled it, you still wouldn't have been at an ounce. So what we're saying is it can't kill you. It can take you down through there in your healing. And especially another reason why people are so afraid is because we don't want to spend time with ourselves. Right now, we are like almost a society of narcissist dopamine addicts who do harm to ourselves because we don't take care of ourselves. We neglect a whole bunch of stuff, and it's just an unfortunate situation that we can overcome because you do like you did. You find somebody that you can know, like, and trust and learn from. All you did was what I did. Kalindi, when I first met Keith, this joker was blowing up my telephone. He wanted to know what, when, where, how, who. He can call whenever he wants. I don't care. But now that I done gave him a shovel, he know how to fish. He don't call as often because he over there eating.
And I still got mad calls to make, but it's so many books that I'm going through and material that I'm consuming. I just got another book that came in the mail today. I just finished that Astrology for the Soul that you're talking about, which that right there, I had to read that joint back to back. But I just picked this one up right here. You read this one?
What is that?
Astrodynamics, the complete book of out-of-body experiences by Robert Bruce.
Oh, that's not an astrology book, but
no, this was not astrology.
I would love to read it.
Yeah. Roosevelt Moore, can you put it in a blender and mix it with something? Talking about magic mushrooms.
Roosevelt, what's happening? I'm gonna tell the story like Kendi. The shortest answer is yes, you can. However, as Kendi said, you ain't doing what your ancestors is doing because you're not doing what your ancestors was doing. Because the ancestors wasn't putting in no blender and mixing it with nothing. So when they was designing the pyramids, all of them, Chinese, Indian, Native American, Olmecs, Mexicans, Aztecs, they was eating raw mushrooms. They wasn't mixing it with peanut butter. They wasn't mixing it with pineapple juice. They wasn't putting it on pizza. They was eating it straight up. And then they was running over there and slapping the lion in the mouth and be like, give me that damn gazelle. Give me that. What the hell is wrong with you? And so you can mix it with cacao. I brought back some cacao from Bali. I just got to make the chocolates. So you can mix it with it. That's the rave right now, is putting it with something else, because the people complain so much about the initiation. When you eat raw mushrooms, that's a part of the initiation. It's a part of the initiation. And just like science, you know how much you took for sure. If it's mixed with something, you're not clear unless you mix it yourself. So like if I took 3.5 grams and I dropped it down. Now, the first couple of times I did mushroom, let me see. When I had to get that 8 grams down, I had to mix that with some pineapple juice. I ain't gonna lie.
When I did the 9, I just did so I soaked it in lemon and then I added a little honey, and I
want to say this about lemon tech. So the technique that he's doing, all of you who have not tried mushrooms, or you tried once or twice, you went on YouTube and you found this thing called lemon tech. Let's soak it in there and then. And all you're doing is not giving yourself time to get comfortable, because you're accelerating the come on of the fruit probably 2 or 3 times. So you had 40 minutes, maybe 35 minutes. Now you got 8 minutes and the party about to be started. And so for me, I'm still with the Kendi old school. Let the mushrooms work. I used to raise pit bulls. I'm not gonna sharpen his teeth and feed him hot sauce. I went and got good bloodline. If you got good mushrooms, they don't need lemon tech. That's what I say. If it's some mushrooms and they're not popping, like some golden teachers or some white teachers or something, yeah, lemon tech that. But Tamarian blues, Jedi mindfuck, penis envy, apes, you better not, man. You'll get your block rocked. And this is why you need to have someone who's already been down that street. Like you doing that, you've been down that street. Now you can say, all right. But see, you have to have the variety though of with that right there. Once you start seeing that, you'll be like, yo, why these hit faster than this right here? Or why couldn't I just wait and just enjoy the slide in? You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this. Somebody who's interested, they've never done any plant medicine and they're thinking about mushrooms. Start at 5 grams, microdose, work your way up. What's the protocol? What do you suggest?
The first thing I suggest is meditation and breathing. Even if you don't want to do it, talk yourself out of it, punk out, whatever, or go to church and get saved and filled with the Holy Ghost. Meditate. and get in touch with your breath. That's number one. Number two, you need to be in touch with your breath so you can be honest about your trauma and where you are. We lie so much in America just about what we are. Like, we go down Canal Street in New York, you can get all the bootleg. You don't know if it's real. There's probably spots like that in LA too. You know, sweatshops is putting out fake Gucci bags and all that. We don't know how to tell the truth about where we are and why we're doing what we're doing. So before we microdose, before we put anything in our mouth, we should be investigating us. Like, we asking our partner, what's your body count? How much money you make? What's your credit score? How many? Hey man, ask yourself about that, about you. And but whatever you do, it should be steps and stages. One thing is not going to do it. Please don't come to me and say, I took 2 grams of mushrooms, I had an amazing experience, and that's it for me, I'm good to go. Man, stop it. That was your introduction. That was your introduction. Come back and do 2.5 grams. Come back and do 3 grams. Steps and stages is how you make progress, not excuses, right? So now, if you want to, we have 2 categories. Do you want to be Woodstock or do you want to be Wakanda? If you just want to just party and chill, have sex, and just be cool while you're doing your makeup, or you about to go out, hey man, Woodstock it is. Would smoke you a J, drink you some wine, eat you a steak, do whatever you want to do. Don't worry about me and Keith not over there though. You won't see us over there, but have fun. We over here in Wakanda. It's a science. First thing you need to buy is a scale. Shouts out to T'Challa.
Yeah.
You need a scale. That's my number one thing. Like, even before you get your mushrooms, you need to get a scale. So just like when you was buying weed, you got to check behind the person, make sure you're getting what you're paying for.
Mm-hmm.
So then you need to know the questions to ask. Stop getting them from Ray Ray and Pookie and them. Like, if you're gonna get some mushrooms from somebody who grew them. You can get to the source now. And so many people got mushrooms that you can get straight to the source easy and find out who grew them and you get all the background around them. Because mushrooms and all entheogens are represent vortexes and coordinates on the planet. So like penis envy is not is not a place, but it comes from a Amazonian strain of mushrooms called syzygy. So penis envy is an Amazonian strain. Tamarian blues is a African strain. All the cities it was in was black. South Africa, Ghana, and Detroit. 3 black cities. You know what I'm saying? So Bufo, Sonoran Desert, Mexico. So everything that you about to put into you is almost going to like teleport you and blend you in with that area of the earth. And it does work. It's like if you get something from another country and it has a certain feel to you, like nostalgia or whatever, man, the mycology is going to get all up in there. But from that area, you talk to someone like me, I'm from Stedman, North Carolina. So I got a country accent. You talk to Keith, he from the South, he from the West Side. His accent reflects it. You talk to somebody in Ohio or Boston, their accent reflects it. So it's the same thing. Every medicine carries a signature. It carries an accent. And it's just like most people from different places, it's not trying to start no trouble. It just want to experience you. When you go somewhere, people want to experience you. You want to experience other people. Mushrooms just want to experience you, and depending on how much you're going to put into your body. If you're going to microdose at least 30 days. That means it could be a day on, day off. It could be 2 days on, 2 days off. It could be 3 days on, 2 days off. It's all types of things you could do for 30 days of microdosing. Microdosing is when you don't know you took mushrooms. That's the simple definition of microdosing. If you can feel it, and you start to trip and start seeing stuff, that's not a microdose. Okay, you're in.
What's the amount that's considered a microdose, and what are the benefits of microdosing?
It's going to depend on the person. Some people are more sensitive for what a microdose. Like for me, a 0.3, I can't even. I don't feel none of that. But the benefits is it slowly comes into the system and is looking for you. Mushrooms are the mycelial network, which is the nervous system of the planet. So when it goes into your body, what is it looking for? Your nervous system. Your nervous system is attached to what? The neuron and the receptors in your brain. Okay? All of your thoughts are leaving your brain through the what? Nervous system to tell the muscles how to move the bones so you can get up and go to the bathroom. So the mushrooms are going directly to the intelligence center and they're starting to repair because that's all they do. Mushrooms got two goals: grow and repair. Grow and repair. So it's repairing what they said couldn't happen. Type in mushroom brain receptors, mushrooms brain neurons. Like they had scientific evidence in the early 70s, dog, that they suppressed for like 30 years around how it was repairing. Microdosing. Microdosing is so my thoughts get sharper. And you ain't gonna just wake up the next day and be like, I microdosed yesterday, so now I'm smarter. It don't work like that. Don't know, like you're gonna maybe notice something over 2 months. When normally people get microdose from me, I give them a 60-day supply because now you got 2 months, and I tell them with my stack every other day. I do cordyceps, lion's mane, and psilocybin. Psilocybin 75%, and you can use these other mushrooms because they're the cousins and they're other healing agents, making your skin better, improving your memory, cleaning out your blood. And they are called carriers, but that's another topic. When you start mixing things like when you're taking these microdoses and macrodoses. Macrodose for me, I feel is over 3.5 grams. That's for some people maybe over a gram, over 2 grams, but we say over 3.5 grams. That's when you need a sitter, and a sitter is someone who has done what you are about to do. So if you're about to do 2 grams, ask your sitter, have you done 2 grams? Okay. If you're about to do 5, ask your sitter, have you done 5? Because if I haven't had a baby, I can't tell you about childbirth. I can tell you about children, but I can't tell you about childbirth because I haven't experienced that. So you should treat that really good like that when you're going into the higher doses. The advantages of the higher doses is the spiritual work. More spiritual work is done on the higher doses and more heavy lifting because the microdose knows it cannot go into your body, down into a woman's womb or into a man's heart behind his breastplate and get no trauma. So it goes to the place it's the easiest to get, the brain. There's some trauma up here, but there's more trauma in the heart and in the womb than there is up here. And in the abdominal mind, which is abdominal brain, which is in the gut behind the navel, has more nerve endings than the brain does. So that's why it's going in the nervous system. It's trying to get in the brain. But to do spiritual work, you have to take more. You have to take more to do the big trauma healing because you got to have horsepower to pull that stuff out. So Kalindi's recipe was 5 grams, wait 28 days or more. 7 grams, wait 28 days or more. 9 grams, wait 28 days or more. With a sitter all 3 times. The 4th time you go, you should be able to go by yourself. You have enough experience. You're dosed up. You might not want to go to 12 grams next. You might want to come on back down to 5. You might want to come back down to 3.5. But once you handle 9, boy, you can handle a lot of life. I'm talking about you can handle a lot of life after 7 grams. So kudos. Now, high dosing, that's double digits. Now we're talking 10 grams and up. I've not reached 20 grams yet. Kalindi said life starts at 20 grams. We was like, okay, 5 get you in the door, 5 get you in the club, 10 get you upstairs, 20 get you on the rooftop to the penthouse. And
You
then
said the most you've done was 14, right?
the most I've done is a half.
So
Yeah.
I want to know about that, but yeah, I want to drop your Cash App in the at the bottom. What's your Cash App?
Yours, because I don't have it. So whatever they send me, you can just send it to me on Wise, whatever yours is.
Bet. So y'all wanna
Because I trust this.
donate to the cause?
Thank you.
Yes. And so let me ask you this. In your experience working with entheogens and sitting, what type of healing have you seen people walk away with?
You want me to do women first or men?
Let's start with the ladies.
A lot of mother issues, mother wounds. I've had a woman, she had saw her 4-year-old cousin. I think she was like 6, and she saw her 4-year-old cousin die, and she suppressed it and had like forgot all about it. And it came up, and then she saw who did it. And she was free from that. And that was a wild night. But you have to go through wild nights when you holding on to something like that. Like, you just imagine you 50 years old, and you find out who killed your 4-year-old cousin when you were 6, and you know who it is. And you was like, daggone, I've been around this person the whole time. I knew this one right, blah, 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 blah. And the mushrooms will give you some instructions too. Sometimes you have to speak on something, or sometimes you have an assignment to go do something, and you might not really want to go do it. Because I can definitely speak on that. I know there's some things that they was like, come on, we want you. You're gonna have to go do blah blah. And I was just like, oh man, I don't want to do that. They was like, well, don't come back in here until you get it done. So the mushrooms tap into the memories of the universe, because the planet Earth is 4 billion years old. Mushrooms been here 3 billion years old. Human beings only been here like 500 million. Even if Lucy is the oldest and she was here 1 billion years, she's still not old as fungi. Okay. And fungi really, we talk about this, is not a plant because it breathes oxygen. So we call it an extraterrestrial. If you ever we start growing mushrooms in your house, you'd be like, yeah, I got these little aliens in here. What y'all looking at? Yeah, I know. But it's a beautiful thing, man. That part right there, the confidence that it's giving me, the clarity of mind, sitting for people and watching couples. I really love when couples go together. I was going to go over to the men, but I have really seen some profound healing when couples go together, because there's no mask. Because the first thing happens is your mask is dissolved.
So let me ask you this about couples. Would you suggest that couples go in and do entheogens, mushrooms together, or do them separate first and then come together and do them?
I would want, if I had it my way, I would just sit for couples the rest of my life. Instead of people. It's because then you could go do it. Like, why would I want to do it by myself if I feel that way? But if I'm in a relationship with somebody and we already got this close, and the partner, like the lady, like lady came in one time, she had already done 9, and the husband had only done like 5 or something like that. So I was like, y'all gonna have to, like, you can't, like, I'm not gonna put y'all in here in 2 different doses. And he was like, I'm going with my wife, I'm doing 9. I was like, good gracious, and just the dynamics, the change in the dynamics of their relationship, and just 6 hours or overnight. They got there around 5. We went in at 9 o'clock. It's over when the sun come up. We had an amazing breakfast, and I recorded it. And I ain't even released it yet because I was collecting data because John Hopkins was saying that Black people didn't do mushrooms. So during COVID, a lot of Black people was coming to Atlanta to have me sit for them in a room that I had built in my house strictly for medicine, and called the Gin room. And it looked like the inside of a pyramid. So when you came back in the morning, you would be in your environment. You wouldn't be in something that was unfamiliar to you, and like you see up on the wall a white Jesus or Moby Dick or something like that that's already messing with us in the first place, right? So the higher doses with the couples, I would love to see more of that. For men, Black men, I was going to talk to you about this too. I'm going back to Bali in March. I want to do something for Black men. I just decided like 3 days ago, like I want to do a retreat, a medicine retreat.
That's because that's what I'm planning on being in Bali for my birthday in March. So
I'm talking about February though. I was on the phone with my man in the Dominican Republic. I can send you the link right now. I got an 8-bedroom. I was just the other day. I mean, even if it's just 5 people, I want to start doing something for the brothers because we don't cry enough. Women, they cry all the time, and sometimes it be real, sometimes it be fake. They can make whatever. But men, we need to cry, and I mean, especially a martial artist or a hard ass nigga from the hood. You need to cry. You need water in your life. You need H2O. You need salt running out of your tear ducts, okay? And you need to forgive yourself and be forgiven and be able to hear the universe tell you how much it loves you. When you can hear the universe telling you how much it's not your fault, how you are a terrific person, how you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And you know this, the answers on the mushrooms be coming through like a symphony, like a wave, where sometimes you just be like, oh yeah, oh man.
right.
So why wouldn't I want every Black man to go to Bali and get a water ceremony?
Bro, that's a fact. So I've said that every Black person like owes it to their nervous system to go to Bali. So I've been all around the world, been to Africa 3 times, but I have never experienced the amount of peace that I felt in Bali anywhere else. Africa was peaceful, but like what I got in Bali is just so nourishing to your nervous system as well as the food that you're putting in your system. So it's a healing like environment. I'm not sure, is Bali a blue zone?
What is blue?
Blue zone is I don't know, somebody in the chat dropped the exact definition, but there are these places around the world where I guess it's a higher frequency, more healing in that place.
It's got to be.
Right. So where can you find Oyi? At Cosmic Jedi on IG. I'll drop it in here. She also said that she started to feed her ancestors.
Hey, that's what's up. Like I got set. You can type in Oyi Sun feeding your ancestors, Oyi Sun ancestor money. Like plant medicine also heals your ancestors. They're healing through you. Everything that you're doing, your ancestors is either getting the benefit or they catching hell because of your stupidity. Which one you want to?
Here we go. Dr. G said people live the longest in the blue zones. So yeah, I'm not sure if Bali is a blue zone then, but like if you are Black, especially Black men, but all Black people, you have to put Bali on your list. Like, trust me, when you get there, it's going to be like something you've never experienced before. Oh yeah. So you were in Bali, you spent quite a bit of time there.
Hold on, man. You better tell them not as a passport bro, because maybe some of your listeners will be thinking that you just don't like Black women. So can you tell everybody that you like Black women? I don't want to.
Oh, I love black women. Like I just put a whole
Okay.
movie out called Melanin Monroe. So, you know, it's all about the sisters and black love over here. But what was I saying, man? I lost my train of thought. But yeah, you gotta go and check out. Oh, that's what I would say. So you were in Bali for an extended period of time, and then you know you were in Atlanta before that, and now you're back in the States. Talk about the difference energetically that you feel, like being before you left and being in Bali and now coming back. Like I can tell you, when I left and went to Bali, it was right after I had did warrior retreats in Peru, and one of the reasons why I went to Bali is because Peru is such this like high vibrational place, and you know you basically get this high. So I wanted to extend that, especially like through the new year. So then I went to Bali, and when you come back to the States, while you know there's a change in you, I'll just say it like niggas gonna have you on nigga energy. So you immediately feel the difference in energy, like right when you get back to the airport. So talk about what your experience has been.
When I left America, and I'm an astrologer, so you have meridians that run, planetary lines that run through, just because I went to Bali, Atlanta didn't change and moved to a new time zone. It was still Atlanta. South Central was still what? South the whole time you was gone, guess what? South Central did not move. Crenshaw's was still at the same place you left it when you came back. And the same people who've never left Crenshaw or Atlanta, the energy was still present. I left the energy, saw something I can't unsee, experienced something I can't unexperience, which was a healing of my nervous system and a brand new set of eyes. You black people here watching this, if you've never left America, you can't see straight because you think it's only the way it is here. So all we see is strife. We ain't seen no Huxtable family since Bill and Claire. But in Bali, it's all the things that we talk about on social media that we want as a brown and black community, right? Like camaraderie, cooperation, love, ceremonies, healing, celebrating ancestors, fresh food. Come on, nobody taxing you on the prices. Nothing in a rush, nothing at all. Something start at 7. Yeah, picture that. It'd be about 7:47 before its joint start getting started. We're gonna go ahead and get started now. It's about 7:45. I thought you said we were starting at 7. Bali time. But it feels so good. So when I came back, the energy in Atlanta at my barbershop was the same, but my energy was different because I had new eyes and I was looking at things differently. So now, before I left, I wanted to save everybody and put everybody up on game. Now, I done ran into so much other game being international like that because everybody's in Bali. I was just like, oh, I ain't telling nobody nothing now. I can tell you can't catch me or you can't keep up. So there's no need for me to share. So keep some more things for myself and protect my nervous system like it's supposed to be. But just like even when I decided to come back for this short visit, I don't need to be in Bali a whole 12 months out of the year. I probably gonna get some property, of course, but it's a lot of turf on this earth I need to see and hammer business on. You know what I'm saying? And pick up magic and drop off magic. I got medicine to pick up and I got medicine to drop off. And everybody does. But there's a lot of medicine in Bali for you to pick up to help you on your journey to who you are and for your ancestors. I think it's a great place because they have like it's a whole island of plant medicine. It's a whole island. They got so many plant medicines in Bali, you can't even keep up with them. For mushrooms to be illegal, which is crazy, but you can still get them. But that's another story.
Right.
But you can't get them from me, not in Bali. I don't know anything about that. In America,
Yeah.
but in
So,
Bali, no.
that's a good segue, talking about all of the different types of plant medicines in Bali. So let's kind of talk about plant medicines in general. My experience, ayahuasca, mushrooms. Also have done wachuma.
Tell
Talk
me
about
about Wachuma. Tell me about Wachuma.
So wachuma is I've never taken ecstasy, but my boy he explained it that it's kind of like a plant medicine ecstasy. So it was like a heart opener. So very connected to the land, and just feeling the euphoria of love. Which it was a great experience. It wasn't like psychedelic or anything like that. So we were up in the mountains and just pretty much like connecting with the land. So that was the energy of wachuma.
Okay.
Yeah.
But go, because I have an option of maybe trying that this weekend. So I've been Wachuma and MDMA has been on my list. So I'm just getting personal experiences for something I
Yeah.
haven't tried yet.
I will say, hold on. Boom, boom, boom. Hold on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but your camera got turned off.
Yeah, I just disconnected. Hold on for a second. But let me answer this. I will say yes, try wachuma. It's worth the try. And you can still pretty much like function and go about your day.
Wachuma, I think is spelled with an H. I think it's HUA because it's a cactus. They say from Peru, and my man Firewater said that there's different brands or different kinds of Wachuma, but I think it's because I've already searched for it today. I think it's HUA Chuma, CHUMA, Wa Chuma. San Pedro. Some people call it San Pedro.
Yeah. And going back to a question you asked me earlier, you asked me why did I do ayahuasca in Costa Rica and Peru as opposed to America. Personally, I would not do it in America. One of the things that the shaman said to me and to the group is that like you go to where the medicine is grown, right? And maybe it's different for like mushrooms and other things, but I can see the difference from doing it in Costa Rica, where it was an ayahuasca retreat. So, they do everything for you. You just pretty much show up, they give you the tea and you drink it, versus going to Peru where it's a lot more intimate. You're actually like going into the jungles, you're harvesting it, you're giving the offering to the tree. You take it, you beat it down yourself, you brew it into a tea and you drink it that night. So it's more, it's like, you can have sex with someone you just met and it can be great. But like if you've taken the time to build a foundation and, find out what this person likes and, you're building that intimacy, is going to be a lot more pleasurable. So that's my experience. And, the guy my boy that started Warrior Retreats, he did ayahuasca, a bunch of times in America. And he's saying that, yeah, he would never do it in America because you can like feel and see the difference of doing it in one of those places. And it's also like areas have energy and frequency. So when you go to a place like Central America, you are also taking your whole nervous system over into that environment. And it's a place where you can unplug, because a lot of times, like, you can have internet, but you're not going to be on your phone as if you're here in America. It's too many distractions here. So, it will behoove you to, if you can, go to a place like that where you can unplug and really just get into nature and, get the full experience of that. So that said, those are the plant medicines that I've worked with. What have you worked with? And then also you have a retreat coming up with Bufo. So I want to know what Bufo is. What's that experience? Because when I first met you, that's another thing. You were like, yo, you need to do Bufo. And, it was in the back of my head, but that was the first time I heard it. And so then, now I've heard a little bit more about it. And it's like, oh, I'm interested.
You want to know which? Oh, I like that you asked me what I have done too, because I want people who earlier we were talking about fear and asking people like, how many grams is it? Did you grow it? Give me some information on it. Like, get to know the person, like have a discerning spirit when you are moving into these areas of experimentation with entheogens, plant medicines, all of that. You have every right to be safe, number one. So, and if you feel that the person does not know what they're talking about or whatever, they ain't answering the questions to your satisfaction, the deuces is always is the best psychedelic out there. 2 fingers.
Mm-hmm.
These right here are 2 good psychedelic. This one right here, deuces, you know, and because you don't want to be around, fuck around and find out. You rather be with deuces, right? So I've done cannabis, psilocybin, mescaline, which came from this. I think it's from the San Pedro. It's like a peyote, but it's like this. It's like the central part of the peyote. I did too much LSD one time. I've done Yopo and Bufo. So Bufo is 5-MeO from a animal, which is a toad, and Yopo is 5-MeO from a tree in, I think is somewhere in South America or Central America.
Mm-hmm.
Bufo is profound and fast and the most loving thing that I have ever experienced in my life. Ever. It is called the God molecule for a reason. Yopo, and it's over. The Bufo is over in about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. But I always give a person an hour for their time because we have to do some pre-integration with correct breathing because Bufo is very susceptible to the influence of adrenaline versus serotonin. It likes serotonin. It don't necessarily like adrenaline. But control freaks carry a lot of adrenaline anyway. Always uptight, shoulders always up high, always want things to, like they always want to explain to me how this is happening. Explain to me how this is happening. The mushroom is not explaining. I'm sure the Wachuma didn't explain. I know ayahuasca didn't explain. No, nobody cared nothing about your little thing because you want to be in control and somebody should explain it to you. These are very grown and ancient sacred medicines, and it's okay if it's not for you, right? However, if it is, find people who like have backgrounds in the Wakanda side of dealing with the mushrooms or whatever the medicine is, not the Woodstock side, because the Woodstock side is not going to keep you safe. So, I've microdosed Iboga. I call him Uncle Ruckus. He's a grown ass man. That Iboga is a grown man. I didn't take the big dose because you definitely need someone there for that to do, because you could die on Iboga. So I did a microdose for 30 days of Iboga. Wow. That's how I changed my name. The name Oyi came out of a 30-day Iboga Tamarian Blue microdose.
Yeah, I one thing as I've been consuming so much content and I'm watching so many people speak in the conscious community and the psychedelic community, I'm noticing everybody has a different name. Like they all got these American names, right? There's something to that, huh?
Well, did you see the movie or the documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know?
Yes.
And remember the doctor who did the water experiment?
I do, yes.
And he put like love, joy, hate, worry, and it changed the molecular structure of the water. So your body is 90% water. So what are you speaking over your own body, over your own water?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why it's very it's very important to improve upon your frequency. Your name that is on your birth certificate is not like all who you are. You know what I'm saying? Keith. You think you just limited to 5 letters? Get out of here. Stop
Yeah.
it. My birth name is Jeffrey. It's got 7 letters. You think, do I look like I'm a 7-letter being? Our spiritual names probably got to take about 3 minutes to pronounce.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So did the medicine give you the name Oyi?
Oh, no. It damn sure didn't. I was definitely good. I was definitely nice and sober when I when I created the name. But it was that's a good point. When you take the sacrament, that's the ceremony. The trip starts when you get sober.
Break that down.
I'm tripping right now off the last time I was high. And I mean healthy, holy high. Okay. So I'm in the integration of the ceremony. When you raise a child, that's the trip. The ceremony was getting pregnant and having the baby. Okay, you ain't got the baby in your stomach. The baby's already pushed out. The umbilical cord is there. That joker eating every day. Oh, it's a trip now. You're in the trip. So that's why I said when Kendi said in 1973 he took mushrooms and he's been on that same trip ever since. And that he said that in 2020. So 2019, 2020. So I'm integrating all of my last. Well, I did have a microdose of Bufo last week, so I'm still integrating that. Yeah, yay me. That's what I like about Bufo, because the dose, we give such a big dose that I'm gonna always get a microdose. Just when you exhale, like the dose that you blow out is gonna be a microdose to some people. Some people, because Black people, man, we need, our trauma is just different. Our trauma is so different. We need us teaching us, sitting for us, relating to us, growing medicine for us. We need all of that we don't need our own land. We need our own healers. We need our own healers, dog. Why would I even, I'm sorry, off subject. Why would I, after going to Bali, why would I want to own some land in America? That sounds ass backwards.
Yeah, it's a different world over there. Someone says, is it safe to do solo? Which plant medicine are you talking about exactly? Ayahuasca, you're definitely not doing solo. You're gonna sit with the shaman. Wachuma, I mean, maybe you can do that one solo if you got some, because I did go into a store out in Peru and they were selling it, but mushrooms you can do solo depending on how much you're doing. But again, if you're following the protocol of Kendi E, your first 3 times you will have a sitter. Bufo. Oh yeah, that's your expertise. You got to tell me about that one.
No way you doing that by yourself. Maybe not your first 10 or 20 times. I wouldn't try it. I've sat in 270 ceremonies and I don't do myself. I don't even do myself on Bufo, player. You crazy?
So tell me about this retreat that you have coming up, and if people are interested in doing Bufo, how to get in contact with you, and what can they expect from the experience?
Wow. What I need to do is send you this and see how fast, if you could get this up on the screen right here. So
are you if you're on the computer, if it's on your computer, you can share the screen.
Beat up, bop, ba da ba da ba 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 da 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 da
Yo,
da.
so if y'all are watching this, hit that like button. It helps out the channel. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. And if you got any questions about plant medicine, whether it's integration, an experience you want to share, drop them in the comments.
Wow, y'all really doing this, aren't we? I want to get to right. They're not letting. I think it's just gonna be faster if I just text this to you and you put it up.
Yeah, shoot it to me. Shoot it to me.
So
One thing,
basically,
yeah, go for it.
I said so basically. Oh, that worked out quick. The the retreat in the Dominican Republic is either going to be for Black men or
Mm-hmm.
going to be for people, members of the Cosmic Dojo. So the Cosmic Dojo is my membership platform. It's the same price if you got Netflix and Disney Channel, but you get benefits and access to me, and it's only $17 a month. So I want to work with, have like some mastermind type of sanctuary where it's half healing and then half masterminding. And it'll probably be like a 4 day or a 4 day, 5 night, or 5 night, 6 day, something like that. And I'm thinking about doing it somewhere in North America. So it could be Puerto Rico, it could be Dominican Republic, could be at a big ass ranch house in Texas, but just as long as it's medicine friendly, because I feel that people need a little longer integration to just sit and accept what just happened in their life. Like Bufo resets 76 trillion cells in the body.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to get up and try to go right back to work or get back on your phone and tell everybody what just happened on social media, or like, why don't you just be around other people who are in that same frequency? And this is, I just want to create a container so people can have an experience and let the magic happen itself. But if you're always hanging around sick people, what they said, you hang around 9 broke people, you bound to be the 10th one, right? So if I hang around, if I hang around 9 sick people or people who don't get it, I ain't gonna get it. So I want to be around. I hung around Kalindi because he was a martial artist. He was a father. You know, all the things that I wanted. You know, he was a master mycologist, a master scholar. All the things that I wanted to be. I went and just was like, yo, let me hang around that. And so I lost my thought. What was I? Oh. So it's like, let's heal together. And then what a lot of retreats are missing is the team component. So when we leave, I want everybody to feel like a team, to whether they're either working on a spiritual / personal project together and collectively, or working on um like a Forbes magazine, a Wall Street Journal. Like, let's put some business together. That this is what they do. They go to do masterminds and they do medicine for a day or two, and then they come up with amazing ideals because they don't have any blockages. So if I know I can hold the container, I just need the geniuses to come through. And you can bring your fear. I don't care nothing about that. Because I was afraid too, because I had the misinformation. So we can get past that because I got all the data that you ever will be able to shake a stick at, plus some. And I don't want to overwhelm a person by saying, let's just get it done, in one day. Now I do people fly to North Carolina to do Bufo. That's cool. People fly me to them to do Bufo. So if somebody wanted to do that, that's cool. I got a group of people in Chicago. They always have 7 or 8 people there for me to do Bufo, like just one full day. They just come in collectively. But all the ceremonies are individual. But the retreat sanctuary is so people can really sink in to this work, and like also bringing the astrology piece heavy, because it takes time to understand or implement or integrate the things that happen in the Bufo. What position were the stars in? What message are you receiving from? Could be your ancestors, could be a teacher, could be a celestial being, could be an ascended master. You need to catch this energy and apply it. And so this is what we do. You just text Bufo 5MEO to 404 839 what is 999 4251. I do not ever just put up something where you can just pay and show up. It'll never ever be that way for me, because it's not about the money. It's about the people that are going to be there. It's about me feeling safe. It's also about the people that are coming. They're trusting me with their time, with their money, with their energy, with their trauma. So I interview everybody before I green light anything. So and I would say, when people let you just pay for something and they haven't even talked to you, know you about to walk into something.
Mm. Yes, it's important that you do your research, whether you're doing it with someone that you know, what's their experience with working with plant medicine and others, the facility. There's some great documentaries out that you can watch. There's actually a whole series on the Gaia Network called Psychedelica. And so, when you're traveling to these places, you are in a state where, you're a little more vulnerable, or a lot more vulnerable. So you want to be very intentional about where you go and do your research. Like, do your research. So I just want to stress that.
I saw the sister Sunny put in, and she said, using mushrooms, is it okay to stay the same dose a couple of times, or better to go up, etc.? I want you to wash your face the way you wash your face.
Mm.
When your face is clean, then you go on to the next level. When you know you finish that level, you know when you finish that level. And especially like if you stay there like 3 times, you be done build up a little tolerance. You ain't gonna get no expansion. If you just stay at the same dose, you're gonna end up in Woodstock.
Yeah. I'll say, so when I first met Oyi, and I told him about my experience doing 5, he was like, you were still walking around? Like, I probably would have started you at 7. So I don't know if my tolerance was higher because I did ayahuasca before, but when I got back and after I listened to like all of the Kalindi talks, I went from, I did 7, then I went to 9, and 9 was too much at the time. So I went back down to 7. So the next time that I'll do it, I will go back up to 9. But that 7 was incredible.
Hey,
yes.
And see, you had kind of answered her question too, because it's cool to go at the reason you go 5, 7, 9, so you can know what floor you need to go to for whatever you need. So like if it's something light right now, you ain't really got nothing pressing you, you could just go in on a 5. You know what I'm saying? But whatever you start at 9, you better, like I would maybe go over to the 9 one more time before I go to 12. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely gotta stop back by 9. So I went to go see KRS-One. I think it was last week, Teach, right? And so he was dropping knowledge for like 3.5 hours. One of the things he was talking about is that they would dance. We heard of like rain dancers, right? You know what I mean? And how they would dance and literally make it rain. And, he was equating it and relating it to hip hop, how, we take certain things and it'll have a different connotation, like making it rain. But as he was saying that, I thought back to the last time I was in Peru doing ayahuasca, and you hear about things and you see things on movies and stuff, and you kind of like shrug it off like that's not real. No, it's real. The shaman was controlling the weather. So as we're in the Maloka, it's the middle of the night, and he's blessing the room and everything, and all of a sudden you just hear it's thundering, and you see like the clouds roll over. Yo, all I remember saying was like, yo, we about to have a wild ass ride tonight. And man, was it. The medicine definitely takes you into another dimension. And unless you experience it, the words that we use, you can try to comprehend, but it's really like something that's ineffable. You will just have to experience it yourself, because also your experiences might not be the same as my experience, because the medicine is intelligent. So it's going to give you what you need. The first time I did ayahuasca, I needed healing. So that's what the journey it took me on. It took me back to actual moments from childhood that I forgot happened. And I was able to go in and, not necessarily relive, but, see myself in those environments and heal that younger version of me. And then when I went back, it was a totally different experience. It took me to ancient Kemet and showed me some things, and, showed me in a different lifetime. So whatever it is that you need, you have to know that these plants, like Oyi was saying, they have been around for, would you say billions of years, Oyi?
3 billion.
So 3 billion years. So they have all of the knowledge of, the planet. And one thing that you told me about when we were just talking about intentions, it was like, why are you setting the intention when, you've been on this planet for X amount of years and these plants have been around for billions? You can't tell the plant anything it doesn't already know. So that said, if you're not going in there with and setting an intention, how are you approaching, or should somebody approach medicine when they're taking it?
You must have played point guard in basketball or something, or you must have been the pitcher on the softball team. Hold on, I need to come empty, leave full. So like if you come in with a full cup, you're always worried about, are you going to spill something? If you come in with an empty cup, you're going to leave with something. So I'm not wise enough to be able to make some type of decision. You know what I'm saying? Around, but because I'm lying about the trauma that I'm holding. Even when I say I got trauma around my mama, I don't know all the trauma that I have, but it's stored in my abdominal walls, just like nerve endings. So the mushrooms can go in there and read that. That's what they're designed to do, to bring back certain memories and certain formulas to solve it. Why would I try to have my little conscious mind, pea brain is what I like to call it, thinking I know what's best for me? That's a whole human design conversation. As soon as you thought you knew something, you were effed up. So I want to get into my body. My mind is the thing that's been messing me up for centuries. Just like when they take a string and tie it to an elephant's ankle and put it in the ground, and then later they tie it to a chair, and he think he tied into the ground, and it's just a string tied to a chair. Like, it's your thoughts, but the medicine is going to come in there and give you full intentions. It's going to give you a full directive. You may not understand it at the moment, which is why I'm there. A sitter is there, and another condor is there. A psychedelic integration master coach is there with you to say, this is how you implement this, or this is how you translate this. And that's when the trip starts. You start implementing the intention after the ceremony. You come in and get You come in empty. How am I going to get a gift if my hands is already full? My hands need to be empty. So all of this, set your intentions. Those are the words of a control freak. In the chat room, please press 1 if you have heard someone say or give you any type of instructions around setting intentions. Now, in some places, like we getting married, we're going to set some damn intentions.
Mm-hmm.
If we go into business together, we're going to set some intentions. But when you're dealing with something that's ancient, that came before magic, came before time, how can I don't even have no data on it? I just started doing mushrooms when I was 48. I'm 54. So even if I'd have been studying every day of my life since I got here in 1970, I would only have 54 years of data. You know how many ice ages it's been since mushrooms been here? The mushrooms have the memory of every ice age, all the dinosaurs, all the dragons, all of the things that have been here on the planet, all the water that's in your body that's been connected to all the water on the planet. Mushrooms have access to that intel. They're the greatest source of data collection ever on the planet. So why would I want to come in and think, that's why I said that's why it's called Control Freaks Anonymous. You don't got to say your name, but you do need to come in here and confess.
Sonny says, so what should our mindset be?
As cool, calm, and collective as possible. Remember when I said start with the meditation? I was like, start with the meditation first. And then, because why am I meditating? Because I'm going to go down and slow my breathing down. What is slowing the breathing down going to do? It's going to cause the body to give us serotonin. What does serotonin do? It relaxes the mind. Ta-da! So the breath is what's going to, because if you start panting, you're going to get the mind worked up. You're going to get adrenaline flowing, which is for fight or flight. So you're in control of your mindset, right? So the easiest thing to do is go into your breath work first. And then, and it also going to depend on like what you're taking. What are you going to be participating in? What's your mindset when you drink wine? What's your mindset when you have sex? What's your mindset when you smoke a joint? What's your mindset when you light an incense? What's your mindset when you're cooking your favorite food? When you're eating your favorite food? When you're flying to your favorite location? What's your mindset? So like,
that's a song right there. Oh, what's your mindset? Somebody need to write that one.
They don't want me to get on that pen now.
Yo, I got a question. So, time of day or night, does it make a difference if someone is taking plant medicine at, let's say, 5 p.m. on a Friday versus 10 p.m. on a Sunday night? Does time play a factor in the experience you will have during the journey? And are there better times to work with the medicine?
Thank you for this astrologically sound question. This is a high level question right here. It depends on what medicine. Mushrooms grow in the dark, so they operate best in the dark. That's why I said people will come to my house at 5 and we get started at 9. Bufo, we up at the crack of dawn. 9 o'clock, you inhaling that pipe. I got you going early in the morning, because Bufo doesn't care. It doesn't care about the conditions and outside. Mushrooms cares a little bit. Cannabis don't care. I don't think Wachuma might not care. And it depends on what you're doing and what your dose is. So let's say, for instance, if I'm going to do a heart opener, I'd rather do it at night, because things are slowing down. There's less things moving around me. I used to say I used to be in them streets, so I got twitches sometimes when jokers be moving and stuff around me. So people always moving in the daytime. I have no right to ask somebody to stop moving so much during the day, because I could be in this house, but all these cars is driving by. But now it's 9:42. It ain't been a car drove by in my neighborhood since I've been on this call. So there's no energy moving. Remember all plant medicines make the veil thinner. That's why you want to come to, in Bali, you don't need a lot of plant medicine because they don't have no veil. You can just sit down and that shit will come right up on you. So it's going to thin the veil for you. So can you handle agitation? Because some people come in and they get agitated, almost annoyed just off of different things, especially like, where's your nervous system? Do you have I'm going in as a healthy 7, 8, 9, 10 nervous system. You might be going in as a 3, 4, 5 nervous system. You might want to be the like midnight, no movement, darkness. I have to talk about outside versus inside. It depends on the medicine as well. And yeah, we all can't get to Peru. I understand totally what the brother was saying, like go to the medicine, and I would just finish that sentence with if you can. And but every medicine, like, don't care about that. Ayahuasca is gonna be right there. It's attached, like it's in the ground. But Bufo, he's from the Sonoran Desert, but I ain't doing no Bufo in no 140-degree heat in the middle. You out of your mind. I either want some air conditioning on. I want controlled temperature. That's what I want. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the care. It's the care thing. Do I want to lay on the jungle floor? Maybe, but I sure would like this this cushion that we got that we use over here. You know what I'm saying? For Bufo, I got a 4-inch memory foam cushion. Everybody red carpet. When you come to me, when you lay back on that bad boy, you be like, I'm gonna treat you good. So it just depends on where you at, who you with. But I like first class treatment for people because that type of karma is gonna get me first class treatment this week when I go to New York. Because I've done that. That's all I gave was first class. So I know I'm gonna get first class treatment.
And I will say, somebody asked, where did I go and do plant medicine? So the first time I went to a place called Rhythmia in Costa Rica, and this lines up to what you were just talking about. So it was like a 5-star all-inclusive resort. And after like going through your ceremony that night and purging, it's nice to go into a nice bedroom, take a hot shower, get in a comfortable bed. So, it's like, would I go back to a place like Costa Rica? Definitely. But I also love the intimacy of going to a place like Peru. Now, Peru, you still got a comfortable bed, but you're dealing with maybe a little more bugs, but you have like a net over your bed, shower, might not be hot, might be a little cold, but it's a trade-off. For me, I'm okay with that just because of the rest of the experience. The showers are a lot quicker. You know what I'm saying? That cold water, you in and out. But it is very nice after, especially if you had a rough night of ceremony, to go get that hot shower and get in that comfortable bed. So you have to also know how you like to travel and sleep. What's your comfort level? You're going to be comfortable in Peru, but you can be like real comfortable in a place like Costa Rica. So, but you're paying for that too. So Costa Rica is a lot more expensive than going to a place like Peru because, like I said, it's a 5-star resort, all inclusive. So it comes with all of the food that you need. It comes with massages, hot, what do you call it? Hot tub, mud bath, cold plunge. So you got a lot of amenities there that you're not getting in a place like Peru. Peru, the food, the variety is not going to be like as vast, that you will get at this 5-star resort. So it really just depends like on you and what you're looking for as far as like comfort and amenities. If you're just going because you really want to like heal, then all of the other stuff is like extra. The most important part is remembering like why you're there. It's to get healing and to grow on your spiritual journey.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Amen. Wow. 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 The spiritual journey, man. Like we should have put that in there. Like it should have said plant medicine, healing, and spiritual journey. Because it seems like that's when I think about this whole conversation that we've had tonight. We have definitely talked about plant medicine. We've talked about legends, but we've also talked about the process of a spiritual journey without even saying spiritual journey. We didn't even say spiritual journey, but we described it.
Right. Because that's what it's all about. What did you tell me? You said that the purpose and point being here is all about growth. Everything else is extra, right?
Growth is the purpose. Everything else is the result. Growth is the purpose. Everything else is the result.
And, one thing about growth, it does not always feel good. If you're having a growth spurt, that can be, challenging, painful, but it's well worth it. And the emotional pain is a much more difficult pain to deal with and tolerate, because as we have these hurts throughout life and these pains that we're now like covering them up with things. So some people might cover them up with drugs. Some people might cover it up with alcohol. Some people might cover it up with sex. Some people might cover it up with all of the above. The thing about it though is at a certain point when you stop covering it up, all of that pain is still there. And, you're going to have to deal with it. So that can be sensory overload in a sense if you're trying to deal with like all of these things at one time without the aid of a plant medicine. So what a plant medicine can help you do is to work through trauma and pain, and without the necessarily pain of dealing with it all at once psychologically. So like when I did ayahuasca and it's taking me back to, these childhood memories, I'm looking at it almost from a voyeuristic standpoint. Like I can see it, I'm still a part of it, but that emotional attachment is not there, because a lot of times we have emotional attachment to certain things, then that might be quote unquote too much for a person to, face their fears and their traumas. Like you said, the medicine told you, yeah, you need to go do X, Y, and Z. You might not really want to do that, but the medicine opens your heart and allows you to go into spaces that may have been difficult to go and do otherwise. So that's my 2 cents.
Did you see Star Wars?
So, I'm a film guy, right? But I'm going to be honest. I never really got into Star Wars. I just got into sci-fi recently, since working with plant medicine. Before I like dramas and like real life stories. And now that I've experienced these other dimensions, I love sci-fi. So it's probably time for me to go and explore Star Wars. But
I'm going to give you one even easier. Can you tell me about the opening scenes of the first Matrix? What is Neo doing?
The opening scene. I know he's at the computer. He's in his room. I don't know if I'm missing the scene, but I just know he's in
the office. When he gets to the office, tell me about that. When he gets to the office and Mr. Smith is looking for
him. This is after he's met Morpheus. This is before he met Orpheus. So, he's hacking, right? Isn't he? He's doing like what he does, and then Mr. Smith is after him. So now he's trying to escape. So then he's picking up the phone and they're directing him how to get out.
Who's on the phone? Who's on the phone?
Was it Trinity?
Morpheus is on the phone.
Morpheus is on the phone. Okay. Yeah.
Why is he Morpheus knows? Remember, he was looking, Morpheus was like duck down, crawl, turn left, go straight, wait. But he couldn't even see Morpheus.
Right.
But Morpheus knew every turn for him to make in order for him to stay safe and get out of that situation, right?
Right.
So he trusted Morpheus, but couldn't even see Morpheus. Ain't that crazy?
Yo,
That's
I'm not gonna front. That's a cold analogy right there. Yes.
he was listening to Morpheus while he was looking crazy. Because if you wouldn't have listened to Morpheus, something unseen, unfelt, unmet, he had only heard about Morpheus. Just like you only heard about mushrooms. Morpheus knew the way because he already been in that situation.
Mm.
So mushrooms can open your heart because they already been in 3 billion years worth of hearts. You don't have a trauma that they ain't seen yet. They know how to get it out. They are the book of shadows. They hold all the spells, all the formulas. They've been tested for billions of years. You just got here. Your trauma is only 20, 30, 40 years old. If you do generations, it might be a few thousand years old. You still ain't got no numbers. You still ain't you ain't moving no weight. You're not moving weight. Relax. Everybody be thinking they more important than the joker who got metric tons. You know what I'm saying? Like mushrooms, they weigh it, their information, the same thing they weigh the whales with. You don't have, like, you still got dime bags of information, nickel bags, joints. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like spoonfuls of chickpeas and quinoa salad. You ain't got no steak information. You ain't got no. I'm just giving you just the whole difference. Like the depth. You don't have to eat meat, but you know that steak is very dense and thick. That's what Morpheus was. And Neo was what? Lost in the sauce, needed guidance immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And when he listened to something that knew more than him, it was because they had already been in that situation. Morpheus wasn't shook by Mr. Smith. He didn't give a damn about that. He would have stood up and fought everybody right in the office. But Neo, you ain't know how to fight. You know how to defend yourself. At that time, he was on the floor like he was on 7 grams. Morpheus was the sitter. Ooh, that's cold. Ooh,
I might watch the Matrix tonight. Oh,
Morpheus was the sitter, Holmes.
yeah. Yo, so I'm not gonna hold you all night, man. We gotta get you back on. Like, what's up with your show? Are you doing new episodes, man? We need you back as a regular because you're a master teacher. You have so much information that we need to talk about this. I want to talk more about astrology, how that plays a part in just our history and with our ancestors. Because for me, as I've been on this spiritual journey, I think it started with veganism and now it's morphing into so much more. And as I'm learning about the practices that our ancestors had and working on getting back to that, and it's awakening things. And it's also these shifts that are happening on the planet that it feels like we're having this global awakening. Black people are seeing that what our grandparents believe and great grandparents believe. We've been sold a dream, and now it's about stepping out of this dream and into the vision that our ancestors had for us, and they left clues for us. So just even talking about how to recognize where those clues are and how to read them, because you may have read a book for 20 years, and like you said, when you saw the pictures of all of this art and the mushrooms are in there and you never noticed the mushrooms, and then you go back and you're like, oh, that's always been there. It's like when I go back and watch an old movie, you're looking at it, what you say, you have Bali eyes, a new set of eyes. You're able to perceive something that you didn't perceive before. So yeah, man, we got to get you back on here. We got so much more to talk about.
Hey man, you can I've been looking for a manager since before you even thought about coming to Bali. So
Yeah.
And I'm looking to be I'm gonna be on Mrs. Bliss show tomorrow, and I was just talking to her about I want to be a regular on other people's channel even more than I want my channel to pop.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because if it's just on my channel, then I'd rather say what I was going to say on my channel on other people's channel.
Yeah.
Like I want to be a cool Charleston White, if you can figure out what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, say less. I will be hitting you up like, yo, you available? Let's do it live. Let me ask you this question, off topic from mushrooms and plant medicine. What are Oyi's like 5 most influential books, or your 5 favorite books?
No categories, no walls. I get to just go in.
No categories, no walls. I thought that was a book for a second. I was like, no categories, no walls. Who wrote that one?
In my life, see, because it's like what's my favorite, and then what's my starter pack for others. So can I do both?
Do both.
So my favorite is The Art of War, The Holy Tablets, The Magic of Thinking Big.
That's a good one.
Who Not How, and the Circle 7 Quran. Noble Drew Ali. If you're not up on Noble Drew Ali, if you know more about Bruce Lee than you know about Noble Drew Ali, you in trouble.
What was that book you said by him? I'll write that down.
The
Noble Drew Ali.
7 Quran, Koran. The Circle 7 Quran. You should be able to get it for $5 or $10. It's all over the internet for free. PDFs everywhere, galore. Okay. So that's my 5 for me right now. If I was to say a starter kit for other people, I would say The Art of Shinku, SHEN, second word KU, The Art of Shinku. I would also say The Art of War, by Thomas Cleary, the Shambhala edition. I would absolutely put number 3 in there as The Cards of Your Destiny. Must.
You just read my mind, bro.
That's why I said I needed 2 groups. Because I I don't need Cards of Destiny right now. Like I need The Art of War, but somebody else does. Somebody else needs it right now in their life and don't even know it. They don't even know how much they need the Cards of the Destiny. Jewel in the Lotus. Gotta have my Tantra in there, my Jewel in the Lotus. And I'm looking at my own bookshelf right now, something that can explain itself. I'm gonna double down on, oh shit, damn it. Okay, this one is because we're in a crisis, and I'm looking at these, and they're sitting right beside each other. So this is 2 books, but I'm just gonna call it one. If you got something going on, relationships, and you Black, you need to read Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman and Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. That should be immediate. I should have named it first.
Who's that by?
Shahrazad, the Grand Master Shahrazad Ali. Shahrazad Ali, who was a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And she's also a member of the Nation of Islam under Louis Farrakhan. And then the other one would be woo, Lord have mercy. This one's critical. I'm gonna go hard on them right here with this one. They can thank me later. I'm gonna go ahead and throw Astrology for the Soul in there.
Look, hold on.
That's a mean.
I literally just wrote that one down. You probably can't say it, because I'm writing down my 5. I'm gonna get my 5 next, and that's the one I just wrote.
That Astrology for the Soul. Read that last 5. Astrology for the Soul, Shahrazad Ali.
The Black Man's Guide and the Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. You said the Art of War, Destiny cards.
Yeah, that's the 5 piece, right? Oh, and
Circle 7 Quran.
Well, the Circle 7 Quran was in my personal. That was in my personal. My personal 5. The second 5 was like for newbies, like to have you a nice roundabout life. You got the art of war to take care of your business. You got cardiology to take care of your identity and timing. You got Shahrazad Ali and the Black Man's Guide and the Black Woman's Guide for relationships, and then that astrology for the soul can help you stop worrying so damn much about nothing, because you can know what your spiritual purpose is. Your north node is your spiritual purpose. Your north node is your GPS. Your north node is your North Star. So when you look in that book, you really only need one chapter. You don't even need a whole book.
One to two. I had to read 2 because it talks about reading where your north node sits, and then also the house.
Oh yeah. Well, that's because you're an advanced student and you be cheating. That's what that is. You ain't have to. You had enough information in that first one. You had enough information on that first one, but then you was just like, well, it's in small type. I wonder what this is. Yeah.
That opened my eyes to so many things, and as I like read it and look back on relationships and how those things played a part, it's like, damn, I was doing this. I did do that. And so
because you've read more than me, because my Pisces North Node is in my 7th house. So, but I've never read the 7th house North Node in that book ever, and I'm going to read it tonight.
Yeah, check that out.
That's the same as Libra North Node.
So I'm gonna give mine, and just like you put 2 books together, this is 3 books. I gotta package them together because like this is a starter pack. So I'm gonna go with Broder Files Volume 1, Broder Files Volume 2, Now Valley Contributions to Civilization.
I'm quitting.
So that's by Anthony Browder, who's been on the show. If you have not seen that interview, just watch that tonight. Extremely impactful interview. And so those 3 books right there, I'm gonna count as one. Like that's your starter package. Broder Files Volume 1, Volume 2, and the Now Valley Contributions to Civilization. If you
hold on, man, pause. Bro, them was you out here. You just went back to like 92.
I had to though.
Man, that was my Now Valley Contributions to Civilization, The Art of War, and What They Never Taught You in History Class. I bought as a bundle at the at the No bookstore in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I'm throwing that one in there too. I gotta add that I am swagger jacking. I'm throwing Now Valley Contributions on mine, but I want to throw What They Never Taught in History Class for those of you who would like to be a little more conscious of Blackness. There's a book called What They Never Taught You in History Class. That joint, that and the Browder Files could my all-time favorite. I just spoke this yesterday. Dang, I know we got to get back to yours. From Niggas to Gods.
That's been in my Amazon wish list for a while. I gotta get that one.
What?
Yeah, man, it's like you reading books, somebody tell you about another book. I got so many books I gotta get through. I'm gonna get to it. But like part of your spiritual journey and healing will happen from knowing who you actually are. So that's why I'm putting these Tony Broder books in there. Like it's imperative. That's not even a negotiable, especially if you got a Black son or Black kids. You have to have those books in your library. So that's going to count as one, even though it's 3. Next up, I'm going to go with Destiny cards. Oyi, turn me on to Destiny cards. Now, I got Destiny cards after I got a palm leaf reading. What's a palm leaf reading? So in Bali, you give them your birthday. And what I'm noticing is so many things use astrology for their system, right? So now it's like time for me to just learn astrology because that seems to be the foundation of so many things. But cards are your destiny. Oh, I was telling you about the palm leaf reading. You give them your birthday, and then they pull these palm leaves that have your whole life written out in Sanskrit from past lives to now to the future. And so when I did that and they told me about my past lives, it was like, okay, yeah, all of these things they're telling me, it kind of relates to what I've been doing in this lifetime. But man, when they got to now, it was so like
Penetrate.
yeah, it was so uncannily on point that it seemed like a scam. And I just met you, but it was almost like you met me. It seems like you knew me and you did all of this research on me. Then you came to Bali to meet me and you sent me there so they could tell me all of this stuff. And it was so on point that it seems magical. You could put this in a movie, right? To set up somebody. And so it was that on point to what they were saying, from specifically naming me going to Peru to do plant medicine, being vegan. What else did they say? Music. They just named a lot of things. And then they told me about the future. So that was kind of like my first, like, like our life is written already. Then you told me about destiny cards. The cards are your destiny. Cards are your destiny. Quick blurb about what it is. We all have a birth card and what's called a planetary ruling card based on our birthday. And so that card will tell you about your personality, the work you came here to do. And that's one part of it. The second part of that is it is a map, again, of your life from age 0 to 99. And it breaks down by months and then also some things that you will deal with like for the entirety of the year. And so you can like actually go back and test and see what it says, if it's accurate. And you can also see who that you know will play a part like in certain things and chapters that are happening in your life. So this is like having a cheat code to life, because if you're thinking about, real estate or going into business, you can look at your destiny cards and it can tell you like, oh, this might not be the right move right now, or this person has this card. So, they might not be the right person. So it can potentially save you time and headaches if you know how to use it. So Cards of Your Destiny by Robert Lee Camp. It's like $20. You can get that on Amazon. I'm gonna throw that one in there. He also has another book called Love Cards. So, you want to package that one together, get that. Then I'm going to go with Astrology for the Soul. That was on Oyi's list. Oyi told me about that one as well. It talks about, like you said, the North Node, and, the South Node breaks down like what you mastered in previous lives, right? And in this lifetime, sometimes we tend to like naturally try to operate like the past life, but that's not what we're here to do now. And so the North Node is your work that you're here to do in this lifetime. So when I read that book, and again, you only have to read 1 to 2 chapters, it was reading me. And so I had to read that joint back to back, like, hold on, I got to really take notes on this. So Astrology for the Soul. Next up, I'm going to go with, like, I say the most important book that I've ever read, because it kind of started me on my journey, and that's Ask and It Is Given. Ask and It Is Given. That is a great book that, just really, because at the time, this is when I'm coming out of church. And so that was the first book that started to shape and mold my consciousness and how I was thinking and looking at things differently. So I'm gonna go with Ask and It Is Given. And then next up, I'm gonna go with Neville Goddard. So you can actually on Amazon get like his full collection of books. But if you only get one, I'm gonna go with Awaken Imagination. Great book. So those are my 5, which, it's more than 5, but, they are worth reading. And for bonus, I'm going to give you a documentary. This is also up there with a non-negotiable that you got to watch. And it's free on Tubi. It's called Out of Darkness. Don't confuse it with another movie that's a drama. Out of Darkness is a black kid with a crown tilted on his head with like a black hoodie. Out of Darkness, if you got black kids, sit down and watch that with them, and that will greatly aid you in healing your not only your mental thoughts that you have that have been opposed on you by this society, but it will also awaken who you actually are. So that's all I got for my book recommendations.
What's the name of that? What's the name of that last picture?
Out of Darkness. Out of Darkness. It is phenomenal. And Tony Broder is in there, Professor James Small. I think Dr. Umar is in there, but it breaks down our history. And so it starts like 3,000 years before slavery. So you get to see all of the things that we accomplished and, you know, all of the things that we started and, you know, before we get to slavery, because when it comes to school, that's where they pretty much start our history is at slavery. But slavery is, like Tony Broder says, that if we were looking at Black people as a history book, slavery might be start on page like 999, you know, and be one chapter. So you got all of these other chapters that you don't know about that are extremely important, that will awaken something in you, because one of the things that plant medicine can do is unlock that knowledge, because we all have access to our ancestral knowledge.
And somebody was asking me about past life regressions yesterday, and I was just like, that's mushrooms. Like, I don't need to know what I was doing. I just want access, because they're on a different timeline than I am.
Mm-hmm.
The higher self, best me, is on another timeline, and the past dumbass me is on a timeline. But a lot of the ancestors that I serve and that I'm a part of, they are on another timeline, and they can still give me good game. They can still lace me up. You see what I'm saying? Like, I want to be dipped and laced. So that's why you have to go in and make this work almost mandatory. This is almost like, we should have called this some spiritual hygiene. We were talking about plant medicine, but everything that we talked about, we could make an ebook of this transcription of this show and call it spiritual hygiene. And we just mentioned it one time. We could say spiritual hygiene and spiritual journey and hygiene, $5.99. Here you go. They'd be like, damn, this is a whole book about plant medicine. Same thing.
Yeah. Man, well, yo, and I just thought about this too. Retreats. We should do a how to grow retreat at some point. So, because it's important that as the world is shifting and more people are coming into the awareness of psychedelics, and it's only going to continue to grow, and you want to, one, know where your fruit grows, and what better place than to grow it yourself and put that love and energy into it. And so at some point, I think we need to like really talk about where can we do a grow retreat. And it's going to be spiritual hygiene as well. That's the thing, because that's what it's all about.
I think that I like that spiritual hygiene as a sanctuary standalone period. Like, a whole lot of stuff could come up under that. Like, spiritual hygiene be Bufo, or we could be spiritual hygiene, and it could be like you said, just learning how to grow mushrooms, or it could be mushrooms. I will say it takes a certain type of person to actually grow mushrooms, because the last grow class Kendi ever taught was in Atlanta, and we sold out, and it'll never ever be duplicated because it was on February 29th. If you go to Kelendi's Instagram page and scroll down, you'll see the flyer that my man Trey Jackson made that flyer, and it says August 28th and August 29th. He did a lecture on the 28th that I still haven't released, that I do have, and it's still fire. And I have the camera angle is terrible, but it's the last Kendi class, and it's 3.5 hours of pure heat. And
when is that dropping?
I said I was looking for a manager, bro. I got so much content just sitting around. This is, man, it's only one me. It's only one me, dog. Like,
I feel you.
all of this just makes me just relax and be like, when the time come, I'm gonna have some. They're gonna be like, man, I know you ain't got that. I'm gonna be like, I got that and got this, and this. But damn it, what was I saying?
We're talking about the spiritual hygiene and all of the different things that can entail before you went to the grow class with Kendi.
And so 30 people came to the class, and I would say out of those 30, maybe 5 people started growing. Well, initially, I would say 75 to 80% of the people in the class started growing immediately because they left with something in hand. They left in hand. And the crazy part was I picked up Kendi on a Thursday. He said, take me to the dollar store. Then take me to Walmart. I bought everything to teach his class from the dollar store and Walmart. But I had already ordered some stuff from Amazon too, but I could have went to Lowe's and got that too. So to teach a grow class, that's easy breezy. Especially a grow class retreat. Oh man, what are you talking about? That'll be crazy. That'll be easy breezy. Yeah. Now, if they want to learn how to grow, they can get the same video I got for $100. Right? But if they want to, and being taught by Kendi, but if they want to have us in a container, then that experience is going to be worth your while. You ain't gonna have to go to, because you ain't gonna be able to get that in Costa Rica, and you're gonna get genetics. And if you don't know now, the way that I was talking about the cards of your destiny and the astrology for the soul before you knew what it was, think about when I say the word genetics. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, because that's the root. Once you get the genetics, oh my God, you got the technique, but if you ain't got no good genetics, it ain't gonna be nothing. So I really would like to show people not just how to grow mushrooms. I would like for them to have Kelendi's genetics, because I have.
And for growing mushrooms, it does not have to just be magic mushrooms. You can actually grow, mushrooms to eat, and that's a whole nother like business, and et cetera, et cetera. But yo, man, I done had you for almost 2.5 hours. We got to do this again. I know you're on the East Coast, so I want you to get some sleep, brethren. But yeah, man, let's connect again, make this happen, and drop where can people follow you and get in touch? Oh, thecosmicdojo.com is right in his on the screen.
The Cosmic Dojo is my monthly membership. For 1 year, you get 96 text messages from me. You get 96 emails minimum, because every month I'm sending out 8 emails and 8 text messages to you to keep you keep you abreast of the Moon Magic 28 prosperity system. So we always send out an email every 3.5 to 4 days, so you can keep up with the moon cycle. It's a community of moon magicians who are learning to be Jedis. It's a lot of other goodies in there, challenges. I had a 7-day spiritual hygiene challenge in there, virtual. I'm about to do a 7-day human design challenge in there. We did a 7-day hypnotic challenge in there. We did a 5-week, all of November was an integral AI challenge. So it's where the elite meet. So that's when I originally was talking about doing retreats, I want to do it with people who already are in my community already. So that's what the Cosmic Dojo is, for people to join the community. And I mean, there's some scientists in there. I mean, like real scientists that work at the University of Miami. I'm not saying this to be like, Keith, he be moving like us. No, I mean like somebody that got a PhD scientist. Not that Keith ain't a scientist, but we have both. We got you work hard as a scientist, but then you got the one who has got the paperwork too, all in the same container. And so because you got to learn in a dojo how to carry yourself in a martial way if you think you're gonna get by out here. Because Neo needed to learn martial arts. So if you look at the fight scene where Morpheus does his hands like this, and he was like everybody's looking at the hand, but look at where are they? They're in a dojo.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a dojo. If you go look at Doctor Strange, he's learning martial arts in a dojo. It's just an outside dojo. But when he's doing the sling ring and he's opening the vortex, he's in the dojo. All these are martial arts. So that's why I call it the Cosmic Dojo, because it's got human design, astrology, all my spiritual teachings, and it's just blended together like some good Alfredo with some salmon on it, with a little sprinkle of lime. Oh, my bad.
Or some vegan pasta with some vegan cheese. No.
some no, because y'all put cashews and everything. So no, but we can agree to do some eggplant and jackfruit. Now we can meet at the table with some eggplant and jackfruit parmesan with some French bread. Now that we about to smash off, and some broccoli. We about to smash that off on the lowrider. So yes, that's what the Cosmic Dojo is. I am the Cosmic Jedi with a Z on Instagram, and you had the flyer up earlier. If somebody wanted to contact me about Bufo Terrell, he must have been reading my mind. You can just text Bufo 5MEO to 404-999-4251. And if you go to thecosmicjedi.com, you can just send me a message on the site, and we're going to get at you. I appreciate you, brother, for having me on. I look forward to several of these. I would love to be like weekly on this Joker and just let me just sit back and relax and get the questions.
You ain't got to tell me that. We about to be on this joint then like weekly. So it's been real. Appreciate you, bro. Yo, if you learn anything, you want to show some love, Cash App, $ Keith Terrell 24. We definitely want to bless the master teacher. It's been another live Young Black and Vegan. We got the merch out, so that should be actually tagged in the description. It's cold. Get you a hoodie, get you a bucket, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. We out.